China is the first and currently the only country with electric power universal service. China has implemented the Universal Service Project in 2015. Since then, 1.4 billion Chinese people all have access to electricity. To ensure every family is connected to the grid no matter where they live, China's electric workers have overcome all kinds of difficulties. Because of China's vast territory and steep terrain in remote areas, workers had to manually carry poles and transmission lines over mountains and across rivers. The Universal Service Project is a remarkable achievement, but is destined to be a huge investment. Take Yubeng village in Yunnan's Diqing Prefecture as an example. There are only 37 households in Yubeng, yet China Southern Power Grid invested more than 8 million yuan to build 18 kilometers of 10 kilovolt lines, so that this isolated village can say goodbye to oil lamps and candlelight. This investment and the following maintenance costs are hardly recoverable, as the whole village generates a monthly electricity bill of 1,800 yuan. Only China is willing to provide such universal service to its people at all costs. Looking back, China's electric power development can be called a miracle in the world history of electric power. When the People's Republic of China was founded in 1949, its generating capacity was only 4.3 billion kilowatt hours and was growing at an extremely slow rate in the next 2 decades. After 1969, as generators above 100 megawatts were manufactured and put into production, China's generating capacity began to step up. In the 1980s, the state allocated funds to solve various technical difficulties, and finally achieved complete localized production of generator set at an internationally advanced level in 1995. And the annual power generation exceeded 1 trillion kilowatt hours, ranking second in the world just after the US. Since then, China's annual power generation has increased by leaps and bounds, eventually surpassing the US and become world's number one in 2011. By the end of 2020, China's generating capacity has reached 7,623.6 billion kilowatt hours, supported by 794,000 kilometers of transmission lines above 220 kilovolts, which can circle the equator 20 times. It took China 47 years to break through 1 trillion kilowatt hours of electricity generation, but then it took less half of the time to soar from 1 trillion kilowatt hours to the current 7 trillion kilowatt hours. Let's take a look at how China caught up with the world since the 1980s. Meanwhile, more and more generating capacity are coming from clean energy in China. It now has the world's largest installed capacity of wind power as well as photovoltaic power, and is aiming to have CO2 emissions peak before 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality before 2060. From a backward starting point, China has fought hard to catch up, overtook its rivals, and outperform the world. It's truly encouraging and inspiring.